Have you ever looked at a building, a piece of furniture, maybe even just a poster, and you just feel it, like a distinct vibe from a whole different era?
hmm
It's almost like design has this secret language, right? Telling us about the time it came from.
Absolutely. It's like a cultural fingerprint.
But here's what really gets me. Even the stuff we think of as new or modern, it often didn't just spring up from nowhere. A lot of times, these movements were looking back or maybe pushing really hard against whatever came right before them.
That's spot on. Design is never just about aesthetics, is it? It's a powerful mirror reflecting, well, huge social shifts, leaps in technology, changing ideas about life.
So today we're doing a deep dive. We're looking at three really pivotal period styles that honestly redefine art, architecture, even the forks and spoons people used. Arts and crafts, Art Nouveau, and Art Deco.
Right. And these movements, they span roughly from the late 19th century up to the mid-20th, each one trying to capture the spirit of its time, but wow, in vastly different ways, sometimes even clashing.
Our mission today then is to get beyond just, what they looked like.
Exactly. We want to unpack the core philosophies, the ideas driving them, look at some surprising influences, things coming in from all over the world, actually, and really see the lasting legacies. Why did they matter? How did they bounce off each other?
You should definitely be ready for some aha moments today.
I think so.
Okay, so let's rewind. Picture this. Steam, factories, everything's changing super fast, but not everyone's happy about it. Our first style, arts and crafts, kicking off around 1860 or so, it feels like this powerful, almost rebellious pushback. What was going on?
Well, it was a very conscious reaction to the Industrial Revolution,
Right.
which, okay, it brought mass production efficiency, but a lot of people felt the quality, the soul of things was just draining away.
Right, the machine-made stuff felt cheap,
Yeah.
soulless.
Exactly. So the core idea of arts and crafts was this deep emphasis on hand craftsmanship, thinking about the making, the craft, and the decoration as one single thing. The ideal, honest English craftsman creating authentic, really well-made objects.
And this was totally different from the Victorian style, right? Which could be super ornate, often machine-made, lots of applied decoration. Arts and crafts folks talked about rationalism. What did that actually mean on a chair or house?
Precisely. Rationalism meant decoration wasn't just stuck on. It had to be part of the structure itself. Using the beauty of the wood grain, the texture of the brick. It was all about honesty. Honesty in how it worked, what it was made of, how it was made.
Oh, okay.
The belief was really that only handcraft could achieve that authenticity. So yeah, they ditched excessive, meaningless ornament, but meaningful decoration. Decoration that showed the maker's hand. That was absolutely welcome.
Now, when you think arts and crafts, one name just dominates.
Right.
William Morris. What made him so central to all this?
Forrest was huge.
Yeah.
Massively influential. Because he didn't just talk about it, he did it. He championed the craftsman, actively encouraged people to relearn forgotten skills like weaving hand-printing textiles. And his connection to the pre-Raphaelite artists also set this tone for artistic reform, wanting something more honest, less industrial. Plus, he was building on ideas from John Ruskin.
Ah, Ruskin, the critic.
Yeah, the writer, theorist. Ruskin really denounced industrially made objects. He saw handcraft as the only way forward, morally and artistically. He kind of romanticized the medieval period, saw it as this golden age of honest craftsmanship.
It's one thing to have these ideals, but seeing them built into a house. Morris's own place, the Red House, designed by Philip Webb, that's a landmark, isn't it? What makes it so different?
Oh, it's revolutionary for its time. It's just pure functional simplicity. You see these incredible red brick walls, a tiled roof, and you notice there's no applied decoration. Nothing stuck on.
Really? Not at all.
Nope. The design, the floor plan, how it looks outside, where the windows and doors are, it was purely, and this is the key phrase, a result of internal function. So it completely rejected the formal rules of classicism, the symmetry and columns. And it wasn't trying to be picturesque like some Gothic revival stuff either. You see real brick arches doing their job, chimneys that actually serve fireplaces, window size for the rooms they light. Even the little well house out front, it was functional.
So this honesty thing, it went right down to the details, the interiors too. What were the key elements inside an arts and crafts home?
Absolutely. That romanticized medieval idea was everywhere. So think sturdy oak furniture, simple shapes drawn from nature, and a big revival of stained glass.
Ah, the stained glass, right.
Yeah, and not just for churches. Those techniques eventually got picked up by lighting makers like Tiffany, which is a fascinating link we'll see later.
Yeah.
Nature was also huge. You see plant and animal motifs, but stylized, often in large, flat, repeating patterns on wallpapers and textiles.
Like Morris's famous patterns.
Exactly. Like it's Pimpernel or Strawberry Thief. And colored with natural plant dyes, sticking to that honesty principle. You also see details that show the handcraft. Hammered metal finishes proof it wasn't machine stamped. Prominent hinges, drop handles, sometimes even the craftsman's initials stamped on the piece.
Okay, this is where it gets kind of unexpected for me. There was this huge influence from Japan, Japanesery. What was that about?
Yeah, it sounds surprising, but it was massive.
Yeah.
When Japanese ports reopened in 1859, after centuries of isolation, it just unleashed this flood of Japanese art and objects into Europe and America. There's this huge demand for all things Japanese.
Ah.
It really influenced interiors. People loved the simplicity, the asymmetry. You start seeing simple furniture, sometimes ebonized, stained black, to look like ebony elegant spindle legs on chairs and tables.
Is there a famous example?
James Whistler's Peacock Room is maybe the most extravagant one. It's this whole room designed around Japanese aesthetics, blue and gold walls inspired by peacock feathers, shelves filled with blue and white porcelain. It shows how Japanese ideas could blend into this arts and crafts environment.
And the movement definitely crossed the Atlantic. It really took hold in America, developing its own flavor, especially with the mission style. Tell us about that.
Gustav Stickley is the name most connected with that. He made this sturdy handcrafted furniture known as mission furniture. But he was more than a maker. He was an evangelist. He published the Craftsman magazine, promoted the whole arts and crafts philosophy, showcasing designs, ladderback chairs, solid tables, sideboards.
Still emphasizing simplicity.
Oh, yeah. Simple wooden paneling, plain window details. Again, a real contrast to fancy Victorian stuff. And then out in California, you had the Green brothers, Charles and Henry Green.
Green and green, right. Their houses are amazing.
Incredible. They developed this very personal style. It blends the craftsman tradition, that respect for wood and joinery, with really strong Japanese influences. You see it in the intricate woodwork, the beautiful lantern-like light fixtures, the stained glass details. The Gamble House is probably the most famous example. It feels both traditional and totally original at the same time.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about today? How so many people now are looking for handmade, authentic things, kind of reacting against fast fashion, disposable culture. What really stands out to you about this whole back to basics thing? It feels so relevant.
That's a great point. And it almost perfectly sets up our next movement.
Mhm.
Because while arts and crafts was looking back, idealizing handcraft, Art Nouveau, which comes next, roughly 1880 to 1914, bursts onto the scene with a totally different energy.
Oh, it was a huge shift. Yeah, coming out of Belgium and France mainly, Art Nouveau just flat out rejected Victorian styles, rejected copying history. The goal was genuinely original art, a real search for something new.
Exactly. A new art. And its look is just unmistakable. You see these fluid, wavy, organic shapes and lines, often drawn straight from nature plants, flowers, insects even. We talk about the famous whiplash curves.
Ah, yes, the Wicca.
Those dynamic snapping lines that feel like they're moving, like they're alive. And here's a key difference from arts and crafts. Art Nouveau was totally willing to embrace modern industrial materials, iron, glass, and new tech like electric lighting. But they integrated them into these organic designs.
So it wasn't anti-industry in the same way.
Not entirely. It used industrial means, but shaped them into something that felt natural, fluid. The name itself, Art Nouveau, literally came from a shop in Paris owned by Samuel Bing. Just means new art. And wow, it spread, became this huge international style. Different names everywhere, though.
Right, like Style Umard in France, you mentioned Style Floreal, or Liberty in Italy, Modernismo in Spain.
Secession still in Austria, Jugendstil in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a truly global wave of newness.
Architecturally, who are the big names driving this?
Victor Horta in Belgium was a real pioneer. His Hotel Tassel in Brussels, especially the staircase. It's famous for these incredible decorations like vegetable and flower forms climbing the walls and these flowing iron railings.
Using iron but making it look like plants?
Exactly. That really marked an acceptance of metal, an industrial material being used decoratively inside. And in his own house, the Horta House, is a museum now. He designed everything: furniture, lights, stained glass, door handles, all expressing that curvy Art Nouveau look. Used bright white tiles, bold colors too. A total integrated design.
And then there's Gaudi. Antoni Gaudi in Spain, just wow, such a unique, inventive mind.
Gaudi was something else entirely. His Casa Milà in Barcelona, people call it La Pedrera, the stone quarry. It's got this unbelievable rippling stone exterior, runes inside with irregular shapes, almost like a cave. And the Sagrada Familia Cathedral, it looks like a giant building made of stone vegetation just growing upwards.
I got Casa Batlló. With
Yeah.
the skull-like balconies and those colors.
Yeah, the bone-like forms and the incredible swirling ceiling forms inside. Absolute fantasy architecture.
In France, you mentioned Style Guimard. That's Hector Guimard, right? The metro entrances.
That's him. He's most famous for designing, I think it was 141 entrances for the Paris Metro. Instantly recognizable. They look like stylized plant stems holding up the signs made using cast iron fabrication. A brilliant mix of new materials and organic shapes. His apartment building, the Castel Béranger, also had these unique terracotta tiles and flowing metalwork, often in softer pastel colors.
The art from this period is so distinctive, too. You think of Alphonse Mucha?
Oh yeah, Blucher's posters, those idealized female figures with the flowing hair and robes surrounded by flowers. That's a quintessential Art Nouveau image.
And in Vienna, Gustav Klimt.
Klimt, yes, part of the Vienna secession movement, famous for murals, but especially paintings like The Kiss or his portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer. He actually incorporated gold and silver leaf into his paintings, giving them this shimmering, decorative, almost Byzantine quality alongside the flowing lines.
Inside the home, with decorative arts, Art Nouveau aimed for this total look, right? You mentioned the femme fleur. What's that?
The femme fleur, literally woman flower. That's classic French Art Nouveau. It's the image of this, well, dreamy maiden with flowing hair, often shown tangled up with or growing out of swirling plant tendrils.
Ah,
You see her on metalwork, posters, ceramics, a perfect symbol of how they blended the feminine form with nature. Glass was also a huge deal.
right, like Tiffany lamps.
Well, Tiffany in America was a master, definitely. His lamps, the water lily, the peacock, instantly recognizable Tiffany style. But in France, you had pioneers like Émile Gallet and the Daum brothers doing amazing things with cameo glass. That's where they layer different colors of glass and then etch away parts to create a design, and also iridescent glass, which has that shimmering, pearly look inspired by ancient Roman glass they were digging up.
And the furniture. Did it also have those curves?
Oh, definitely. French furniture makers really wanted to break free from traditional styles. Designers like Louis Majorelle became known for floral patterns, motifs like the nénuphar or water lily, using beautiful carving, inlay work, sometimes adding metal elements. And Henri Van de Velde, who actually had connections to arts and crafts, designed this incredibly sweeping, organic furniture, like his famous Ladies' Bureau. Even Gaudi designed furniture that fit his building's organic, wavy, sometimes those bone-like shapes again.
It's amazing how they just infused everything with nature, those flowing lines, that whiplash curve. What does it say to you about the era? It feels so full of energy.
It really does, like a kind of liberation, a dynamic growth, bursting out of older constraints. It feels alive.
Totally. And that dynamism, that energy, it just ramps up even more as we hit Art Deco, right? Roughly 1920 to maybe the 1960s in some places. This was pure machine age glamour. The philosophy here was described as essentially an eclectic style. How did that work? Taking bits from everywhere.
Yeah, eclectic is the key word. Imagine the world coming out of World War I, hungry for progress, for modernity, but also weirdly fascinated by the glamour of ancient civilizations. Art Deco wasn't just grabbing things randomly, though. It was this bold statement. The future could be built using echoes of the past, but streamlined, made modern, often luxurious, using the latest industrial techniques.
So what did it look like? What are the hallmarks?
Think geometric shapes, zigzags, chevrons, sunbursts, streamlined forms like you see on trains or planes, sharp outlines, often really bold colors, and a big embrace of new man-made materials. The name itself, Art Deco, it's shortened from a big Paris exhibition in 1925, the Exposition Internationale des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels Modernes. That show really put the style on the map.
And architecture. This is the skyscraper era, isn't it?
Absolutely. The Chrysler Building in New York, William Van Alen, 1930. It's the ultimate Art Deco icon. Those stepped setbacks as it goes up, that incredible stainless steel spike top. Even the gargoyles are based on radiator caps. A direct nod to the car, the machine.
Oh, I didn't know that about the gargoyles.
Yeah. And the inside was pure opulence. Van Alen used these huge slabs of African red granite, floors of travertine from Sienna, vertical lights hidden behind Belgian blue marble and Mexican amber onyx, diffusing the light, making it really theatrical, just pure luxury.
It was the tallest for a bit. Then the Empire State Building took over in 31. Designed by Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon. That one's famous for this sunburst motif, right?
Another key deco element. And it's such a dramatic shift if you compare them to, say, the Woolworth Building from just 1913. That was beautiful, but it's neo-Gothic, covered in historical detail. Deco was looking forward, sleek and modern.
Did Deco stay high-end, or did it reach regular people?
That's what's interesting. It became increasingly democratic and popular. You could get high-quality, often mass-produced Deco items, lamps, radios, clocks at affordable prices. But it also kept this association with high fashion and elite tastes. It spread through glamorous restaurants, hotels, the amazing interiors of luxury ocean liners like the French ship Normandy. Modern style became accessible.
You see it all over Rockefeller Center in New York too, right?
Totally. The NBC studios there, Radio City, classic Art Deco spaces, the form, the daring use of colors, blue for electricity, black and chrome for new technology, the lobby of the International Building with its green marble, gold leaf ceiling, pure Deco grandeur.
And Radio City Music Hall itself.
A spectacular display, yeah.
Yeah.
Largely designed by Donadeschi, he cleverly combined that luxurious French modernist feel with the functional simplicity coming out of the Bauhaus school in Germany. And he used new materials boldly, bakelite, aluminum. Then you've got places like Miami Beach developing their own version, Miami Deco.
Yeah, the pastels.
Exactly. Those distinctive pastel colors, orange, teal, white on hotels like the Pastana, the Carlisle. A much more playful tropical take on Deco.
The influences seem incredibly wide-ranging. You mentioned ancient civilizations.
Huge influence, especially ancient Egypt. When Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in 1922, it just sparked this craze. Suddenly you saw pharaohs, scarabs, hieroglyphs popping up everywhere in design. Also, pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, Aztec, Inca temples, that's where you get some of the stepped forms, the zigzags, lightning bolt motifs.
And modern art played a role too.
Definitely. It drew on the pictorial inventions of contemporary avant-garde art. Think Cubism, Picasso, breaking things down into facets, geometric shapes. You see that in some Deco patterns. Also the bold colors of Fauvism, Matisse, and others. Even the emotion of Expressionism. And African tribal art influenced stylized figures and the use of exotic woods like Makassar ebony.
It feels like it really just embraced the machine age wholeheartedly.
Oh, completely. The speed, the power, the selectness of cars, planes, ocean liners, they streamlined those features into these glamorous motifs. The sunburst, radiating warmth and energy, it symbolized this real optimism for the future. Stylized animals were huge. Two sleek gazelles leaping, powerful panthers, elephants, always dynamic, streamlined.
Fashion changed dramatically too, didn't it?
Big time. Coco Chanel was pioneering this informal women's wear, a sort of cleverly simple look that felt modern, comfortable, moving away from restricted corsets, embracing the shorter hemlines, the boyish figure. And for evenings, the Roaring Twenties brought in those knee-length gowns covered in beads and paillettes. Pure celebration and freedom.
And the furniture and decorative objects must have been stunning.
Absolutely luxurious. Lots of rich, exotic woods, Makassar ebony, zebra wood, often with inlays of ivory, tortoiseshell, and leather. Polished metal, chrome, glass, mirrors, everything had this sleek, reflective, modern sheen.
Any key designers we should know?
Émile Jacques Ruhlmann in France made just fabulously crafted and luxurious furniture, often inspired by older neoclassical forms, but totally updated with Deco sleekness and materials. René Lalique, famous for his glass perfume bottles, Fosse's amazing car hood ornaments. Eileen Gray was a master of lacquer work, designing incredible screens and interiors.
And didn't some designers transition from Art Nouveau?
Yes. Jean Dinant is a great example. He moved from more organic Nouveau work into geometric Art Deco, especially known for lacquer screens and furniture. In America, Paul Frankel took the stepped forms of American tall buildings, which actually came from zoning laws needing to let light down to the street, and turned them into his famous skyscraper furniture, often in black lacquer with chrome trim.
So cool. And it wasn't all high-end luxury.
No, that's key. You had people like Clarice Cliff in England making brightly colored, hand-painted pottery with colorful semi-abstract patterns, very Deco, very popular. And materials like chrome and plastic made it possible to mass-produce stylish, modern-looking items cheaply. Toasters, cocktail shakers, radios. It really did bring modern design to the masses, democratize that sense of style.
It's undeniable how Art Deco just captured the excitement, the glamour of that era. It felt so futuristic then. Which parts still feel modern to you now? So much of it seems timeless.
It does, doesn't it? And what becomes really clear, I think, when you look at all three arts and crafts, Art Nouveau, Art Deco, is that they aren't just separate boxes. You can almost trace this line, this evolution, from that deep respect for the handmade all the way to fully embracing the machine and mass production.
Right. Arts and crafts, even though it was reacting against the machine, it laid down these core ideas about honesty in materials, respecting the craft. It sort of reset the value of handwork.
Then Art Nouveau comes along and acts like this crucial bridge. It starts using modern industrial stuff, iron, glass, but shapes it into these flowing, organic, often still hand-finished forms.
Hmm.
And importantly, it made that decisive break from just copying historical styles. It paved the way for something truly new.
And Art Deco just dives headfirst into the machine age, industrial production, new synthetic materials, streamlining them, glamorizing them, making them desirable for a much wider audience, making modernism aspirational.
And look how nature changes across the three. It's fascinating. Arts and crafts.
Right.
Nature is literal inspiration, often stylized into those flat, repeating patterns like Morris's wallpapers.
Then Art Nouveau. Nature becomes totally fluid, movement, energy, those whiplash curves, the femme fleur. Nature almost seems alive.
And by Art Deco, nature gets stylized again, but geometrically.
Yeah.
Sunbursts, zigzags like lightning, sleek animals caught in motion, even the stepped ziggurat forms inspired by ancient temples abstracted nature.
And they were all looking beyond Europe, too. That global influence seems really important across the board.
Absolutely. We saw arts and crafts heavily influenced by Japanese design, that Japaneserie after the ports reopened. Whistler's Peacock Room is a prime example.
Right.
Art Nouveau kept drawing on Japanese ideas, especially asymmetry, but blended it into its own flowing style. And Art Deco, as we said, pulled hugely from ancient Egypt, Mesoamerica, African tribal art, a real reflection of a broadening worldview impacting design.
It's also cool to see designers who don't fit neatly in one category, like Charles Rennie Mackintosh in Scotland. People often put him in arts and crafts.
Right, because of the craftsmanship and materials.
But his Glasgow School of Art building, it's often called the first original example of Art Nouveau architecture in Great Britain. Those tall, slender lines, the mix of curves and straight lines in his furniture, it's a unique blend.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we mentioned designers like Jean Dunant or Maurice Dufresne who clearly shifted from Art Nouveau towards Art Deco. It shows it's often more of a flow, an evolution, than hard stops and starts between styles. Ideas bleed into each other.
So we've taken quite a journey. Through the arts and crafts fight for authenticity, Art Nouveau's embrace of flowing, organic life, and Art Deco's sleek, glamorous take on modernity. Each one tells us so much about its time, its values, pushing design in new directions.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. As you go about your day, just look around. Which of these approaches, the handmade, the organic, the streamlined, do you see most reflected in design today? And what might that tell you about our era, our values, our aspirations? Hopefully this deep dive gives you a fresh lens to see the history woven into the world around us.